Hi guys.
Hi guys. Hey guys. Hi guys. This is Jessie.
Hi guys, this is Just E doing Motivational Monday. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am so appreciative and grateful to be doing this right now. It is a beautiful, beautiful day out, so I'm happy I did today and not yesterday like I was going to. I want to start off with saying my favorite quote, which is "The world is heavy," and it goes like this: "The world is heavy, but your bones, just a cubic inch, can hold 19,000 pounds. Ounce for ounce, they are stronger than steel. Atom for atom, you are more precious than diamonds. Stars have died so that you may live. Remember this the next time you feel weak or worthless." So that quote is called "The world is heavy." I like to start off Motivational Mondays with that quote because I think it's a great metaphor for how strong the human race is and our will to live, and how strong the human body is. And I think it's really important for all of us to remember how precious we are and how precious the human life is. Everybody as a whole, not one is more precious than the other type of thing, you know? So, most of my Motivational Mondays I'm going to try to make kind of short and sweet and quick for you so you're not too bored with my babbling. But I am new at this, so bear with me. And this one particularly, I'm going to put a little intro into why I started Motivational Mondays. I tried this a couple different times, and I either put the video up and took it down, or I was too embarrassed to put it up in the first place because that's just kind of who I am. And my anxiety got the best of me, and I finally feel a lot more confident about putting my videos out there because I'm a lot more indulged and feel more like I've kind of gotten to know and understand myself, and that's kind of the whole point of Motivational Mondays, and is to kind of get more confident in yourself and understanding yourself. And I'm going through this journey. I want you to go through it with me, and you know it kind of, growing up, I suffered with my own mental insanities. That's what I call them, mental insanities. And so I had my own forms of depression and anxiety, and I believe it really did push a lot of the people that I find close to me away from me. And I think that I had to take a step back to really understand and learn why this happened and where it came from and what my part in it was and how I could have learned and what I could have done different to get a better outcome. And a lot of ways I could say it does suck that I had to learn the hard way and lose some of the people that were close to me, and kind of learn the hard way how important it is to appreciate people while you still can. I think I also had somewhat of a blessing in disguise because of the fact that having people walk away from me at my lowest point kind of showed me that the people who did stick around are going to be the people who are going to be around forever. And it also gives me confidence to know that I have those people in my life. Some people walk around and they don't even have one person that they feel that confident about, and I'm happy that I have that now. So that's going to be a common thing that you'll see in Motivational Mondays, is just that there's always two sides to things, and how you look and create your world is all going to be what your world is going to be. If you make your world negative, it's going to be negative. If you make it happy, it's going to be happy. And I feel like you hear that a lot, but the whole point of Motivational Mondays is to kind of put some understanding behind it and some real science, I guess. But with that said, the first topic I want to dive into is motivation. I hope you don't mind, but I always have my little handy dandy binder because I will babble, so this keeps me kind of on track. So I looked into motivation first because the thing that got me really to the point where I realized I needed to change was I was at a point that the things that I loved, like painting and drawing and singing and making music, all that stuff was not making me feel good anymore. And I was wondering what changed that now all of a sudden I'm just demotivated and I'm not interested in it. So, the first thing I said is, let me look up motivation, and let me look up demotivation so I know the difference. Because if I ask you right now what's the difference between motivation and demotivation, you get the textbook, which is, for me, I've looked up, motivation is willing to do something, and the something that causes such willingness. And then demotivation is lack of interest and enthusiasm. And I'm like, okay, so what's the thing that's separating the both of these? And then I realized, personally, what I think is the cause. The thing that causes such willingness. That, to me, is the thing that is lacking in demotivation. And in doing so, that's when I started to look into my causes. And I said, things that happened in the past, when I was trying to motivate somebody, maybe my cause was positive, maybe I had a good intention, but the way that I did it was demotivating, and being able to separate motivation and demotivation was kind of like my first task, and being able to understand that, and so, kind of an example to help you understand what I'm talking about. I wrote down some causes, and then I kind of put down like the positive and negative. So like a way that you're positively motivating and a way that you're negatively motivating. So I just did some random stuff that's like I find typical. So self-love. So everyone wants to promote self-love for themselves and for other people, and to always love yourself and work on yourself and be confident. And when you're pushing that confidence and you're looking into that for that confidence, then motivation for self-love is 100%. But sometimes in your motivation for self-love, it can kind of turn negative, and you start to become ignorant and think that you're like above the world, or think that you're better than everybody else. And that's when your self-love can kind of become very negative and self-destructive. And so upon first thinking of self-love, I would have never thought about it in that way, but it's an easy way to kind of show you how motivation can go kind of like into a negative realm. Another way of thinking about it is like an end result for something. You work really hard and you push really hard to get that end result, and it's everything that you ever wanted. But then in the long run, it was very uplifting and it was very motivating. And that's what you want. You want an uplifting and motivating, and that you motivated yourself to that uplifting moment, so it was a good thing. But sometimes you're so blinded by the end result. You push for motivation for this end result that it is very destructive, and it's not what you thought it was. And in the long run, if you had stepped back and stopped focusing so hard on the end result and tried to focus on things in front of you that maybe was your path versus just the motivation of exactly what you're aiming for, sometimes your path will bring you there, whereas you might kind of veer off the path, focusing so hard on that end result that it becomes something very destructive. So, separating that and seeing when something exciting becomes harmful or something encouraging becomes demanding. I think that, for me at least, really being able to separate and see the difference between both of those helped me really understand how to communicate better and how to really be more respectful of somebody else and what they're going through, and being more empathetic in that sense. And my first point that I was going to make was that focus on what motivates you to instill the willingness you need to achieve happiness. So, just make sure that you're always focusing on what motivates you. When somebody is reacting a certain way, or someone's making you feel a certain way, make sure that your reaction is true to you. I know me personally, a lot of the times I will react in pure moment of emotion and just anger and upset or whatever. And a lot of times when I do react like that, it really has nothing to do with them. I'm just in an emotional state because of other things, so I'm easy to react. And that's something that took a long time for me to try to get a hold on, and I'm still working on getting a hold on. And so that's kind of like where that kind of comes in. And my second point that I wanted to kind of get across is that when you're associating a positive and negative with an action, look at it as a reflection of both lives. So what that kind of means in my mind, what I'm trying to say to you is that, if someone's talking to you a certain way, or you're kind of interpreting something a certain way, whether it's written or it's a picture or it's spoken to you, and you feel a certain way, kind of ask yourself, why does it make me feel this way? You know what I mean? And then you can kind of pinpoint like, oh, because of this in my past, or because of what someone said, or because of how I felt my entire life about this, that, or the other thing, it has led me to feel this way. Now, look at what they're saying. Now, why are they saying that? Are they saying it because they're coming from a place of anger and hate? And where is that anger and hate coming from? Or is it coming from a place of pure ignorance and and just trying to get a rise out of me, or is it really just pure hurt? They're really going through something and they don't know how to interpret it and they don't know how to express it, so they're just angry and they blame the world and they're just lashing out, and being able to kind of interpret the difference really helps you know how to react properly. And when I say properly, I mean for yourself. When you're reacting to somebody, you're trying to get an end result for yourself, and if you are reacting in a way that you're looking for an end result where you're going to fight, you're going to end up in a fight. If you react in a way that you're looking to talk, hopefully you'll get a good conversation out of the person. You'll get somebody who can get a little on your level and get level-headed, And I say this because, in the world, we surround ourselves with multiple different types of personalities and multiple different types of people. And I think that surrounding yourself with like-minded people kind of is a good way to kind of look at where they are versus where you are. You know what I mean? If you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people, you're more likely to get to where you want to be. But at the same time, where you are versus where they are, you also want to look at people who want to be in different places than you. You also want to be surrounded by people who are also your friends, and you also want to talk and engage with people who don't have the same exact point of view and don't want to be to where you want to be, because it's going to always open your mind and help you see differently and help you kind of always expand your world and be more open and empathetic to what somebody else might think or somebody else's point of view. Because if you always surround yourself with like-minded people, yeah, you'll get to where you want to be, but you also might get a little like in that world of it's only this way and nobody else is right and this is how it is, because you're surrounded by that. So you always want to make sure that you have a nice mix of people and that you're not judging people and constantly saying, this is how I feel about that person, or that's that person because of their mannerisms, and then kind of get to know them and make that judgment more on a one-on-one basis if it is a situation where it demands it. You know what I mean? And then the second point is pretty simple. It's don't take people personally. I mean, excuse me, I live on a very loud street, and I don't know if you can hear that, but there's like a driver driving by with a loud car. But yeah, and then the third point I wanted to make is to not take people personally. If you are able to kind of separate that positive and negative motivation and say to yourself, maybe this is just their version of motivating, even though it's frustrating and I don't really like it and I could really just do without it. They are trying, they're coming from a good place. And then being able to separate that and understand that, or even you, when you're trying to say something and you're trying to make someone understand your point of view and they're not taking it well, kind of understanding, well, how am I motivating them and how are they taking it? Why are they taking it that way? Oh, well, because they had this in their life and that's why when someone talks at them that way, they don't like it. And just being able to kind of have that open mind really helps you not take things personal for yourself. And I think that by not taking things personal, it's a great way to not feel like you're walking around with a lot of baggage. You're walking around with a lot of what other people think of you and a lot of what other people say of you. And it's a really good way to also be confident in who you are and how you treat people and how you make people feel. Because, I think that even if we try to make ourselves believe that we don't, I think the majority of people do generally want to be a good person and do the right thing by people. And when they kind of veer off that path and kind of forget who they want to be, it doesn't always feel good when you snap back into reality. And that's kind of just what I went through personally. And, this Motivational Monday thing has really helped me when I've been diving into different topics. And I've been doing little actions, So one thing also I wanted to get into, I see and hear people say these sayings all the time. Hurt people hurt, sad people make others sad, misery loves company. Well, guess what? Loving people love, and happy people make others smile, and joy loves company too. So, keep in mind that there are always two sides of something. It's going to be a common theme that you see in my Motivational Mondays, because I think it's so important for you to be able to see both sides of things. Because being able to see the negative, in my opinion, is being able to learn, grow, become wiser, become stronger emotionally and physically. And learning the positive just makes you feel good, and it's always a good reward, for knowing that there is a reason for everything, and that if you keep focusing on the positive, you'll start to realize that your life can be really positive, and it is really what you make of it and how you look at it and how you view it and connotate it. And with that said, the action I would love for you guys to do is pick a new challenge that excites you and helps you break through your career. So when I say career, I really mean that loosely. My career is audio engineering, and my career goal isn't to be, doing live sound or being in a factory. I mean, not factory, being in a studio working for the big wigs. That's not really my dream as an engineer in my career. So, when I say career, I mean take something that's personal to you, that you love, that you would like to excel in, that you could show off in a way of being proud. And it could be something as simple as you painted your nails and you've been wanting to do this for so long and you didn't do it, and you did it really well and you feel proud of it and you want to show it off. It could be something as major as you pulled off a big sale or in your job, or you got that major promotion. Whatever it is, even if it's something as simple as staying home and learning how to play that song that you've been wanting to play for the longest time, just focus on something that makes you happy and try to excel in it a little bit. And if you want to write, definitely write to me. If you feel comfortable posting, I would love to hear everybody's versions of what they did to make themselves feel better about themselves. I will have this posted for a little while on the social media for the rest of this month. And then next month, I'll probably take them off and start putting up new ones. And in that case, you can find these on my website at juste.me. Definitely come check me out at juste.me. I would love to hear from you. The next Monday is going to be about connotation, how we connotate our lives. So I really hope that you guys will stay tuned for that one and be interested in that one, because that one's a really interesting one in my opinion, and it dives a lot more deeper into what I'm saying and the seeing both points of views and all that stuff like that. So I really hope that whoever lives on Long Island got to enjoy this beautiful weather. It was so nice today and warm. You can see I'm wearing a scarf, but I'm not wearing anything heavy. Like, I'm wearing long sleeves but light materials. And so yeah, I just hope that everybody really gets to dive into these topics and gets really interested in Motivational Monday in the way that it's helped me, because it's helped me a lot. And so I really do hope it helps you, and getting to understand things and maybe making it a little easier. I will have a site section where I cite all the things that I got my information from and where I got a lot of my knowledge from, because I try really hard to focus on getting my information from reputable websites that I know are backed up by real like research and stuff like that. So yeah, so I'll definitely put those down, and anything that you like to write, I would love to hear from you. Either way, I can't wait to tune in next week. I am so excited, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. Alright, talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.
Me.